Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. We're going to be walking through what I've been doing today, and that is trying to lay out the tongue and groove boards for the ceiling to make sure that we have enough, we don't order too much, that we have the right length of it, because it comes in like 6, 12, 16 or something. It has different lengths.
Comes in 12, 16, I think are the two options for the larger one.
They come in different lengths. But then I also wanted to try to minimize the amount of cuts that we're going to do and make sure we have the right layout.
And in true Nate fashion, he measured it all out and created a game plan.
So this is what I've been up to all day. Let's see if the camera will pick up the little details. All right, let's just walk through really quick and let's see if maybe we can, I don't know if the camera's really gonna pick this stuff up or not. It doesn't look like it from the...
It is.
Okay, all right, so focus on me for a second. So the first thing that I did...
Do we have to?
We have to focus on me. The first thing I wanted to make sure was that the beam was parallel to the walls. And I know that when Jim and I were doing this, we double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked, but just wanted to make sure, because if it's off a little bit, then that means I need to have more of a gap between the boards that are going up and the walls, and then cover that with like a trim piece in order to straighten the boards to the room. But so what I ended up doing was I took my laser measuring tool, and for every rafter that is roof rafter.
Not joist.
Not joist. Every one of these I measured from the wall to just underneath it on the beam. And while I was doing that, I measured the spacing between the rafters, because they're supposed to be 16-inch on center, but if you guys remember, we had to space them oddly because we had to go around the old rafters that are still in place. So what I ended up doing was laying that out on a piece of paper, which maybe you can see here.
That's what's represented
here.
here.
That's what's represented here. So I'm going to remove some of the
That's fine. You can see it fine.
Yeah. So all 20, I don't remember how many there are, but there's 22 individual, I'll call them bays, whatever, slots. So I then found out that this is pretty much dead on square. Jim, you're awesome.
Thank you, Jim.
It's about 10 feet, 8 inches from the wall to the edge of the beam up there. It varies anywhere between basically not even a quarter of an inch, an eighth of an inch. And that could just also be how I measured with this laser thing here. So it's straight as can be. We're gonna have probably a 1/4 inch gap between where it won't touch the beam, the tongue and groove boards won't touch the beam. There'll probably be a 1/4 inch gap that we'll fill with trim. So it's plumb, it's square, not plumb, it's square. It's ready to go. So then the next thing we had to do was, I think we already pre-selected 12-foot boards.
We did.
Because if you go 12 foot plus 12 foot, that's 24 foot. And then another 6 feet after that is 30 feet. Did I do the math right?
Yep.
And this room is 29 feet in length.
And the boards aren't exactly 12 feet.
Oh, they're not?
They might be a little variance.
I hope they're more than 12 feet. No? I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, that'll be a question. I thought he said they're similar to like a 2x4, how there's a little bit of difference. I think it's the same in those. Uh-oh.
That may be a problem.
We're going to go with their 12 feet.
I'm counting on them being 12 feet. So, I mean, if they're off by 1/8 of an inch,
It would be minimal. It wouldn't be
they'll
like
be okay.
a full inch or anything.
So what I ended up doing was then measuring 6-foot increments down this wall, because we thought we were going to do a pattern where we would do a 12-foot board, a 6-foot board, and a 12-foot board, and that would get us the 29 feet. And then we would start 6 foot, 12, 12. And then we would do 12, 6, 12. Okay? So I know that every 6 feet I'm going to have a joint. Somewhere along the length of this. So I have a 12-foot or a 6-foot right there, a 12-foot marker right here, then we have 18 right here, 24 right here, and then it'll go to 29. But as you can see, every one of these, like here's the 18-foot, it does not land on the roof rafter. It lands just before it. So I'm either going to have to put another board right next to it, because you can't have your gaps. You want your gaps, your edges, to be on the rafters. So that way you can make sure to nail it in.
You just butt them up to each other, yeah.
And to butt them up and to nail them in. So I was like, well, shoot, what am I going to do? Like this one here, that's the 6-foot mark. If I were to put another 2x4 right next to this one, it'd be thick enough to where I can butt the joints right there. So that means I'd have to have a 2x4 going all the way to the top. And then same thing with this one here. This is the 12-foot one. I'd actually I would have to have a board go between the two, go from here to there, so that way I'd have a place to nail the joints in. So then I was like, well, let me just make sure the pattern that we're thinking about is actually going to work. So I laid out the pattern on, it's just this top one up here. I laid out the pattern. I went 12-foot board, 6-foot, and it's actually gonna be 11 feet because it's 1 foot short. So 12, 6, 11. And then we were gonna do 6, 12, 12, right?
Well, it'd be 6, 11, 12 or something to
Yeah.
that effect, but yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is we would have a joint either 1 foot away from this joint or a joint right on it. And we don't want two joints together.
Right.
So this pattern doesn't work.
Okay.
So a 12, 6, 12, 6, 12, 12, that pattern just doesn't work. So then I was trying to figure out what kind of pattern does work. Basically, we need to have this 6 needs to not be a 6. It needs to be like a 3 or a 4 or a 2 or something. So that way you don't have a joint in the center. So I got lucky. I got lucky in that what I did was I said, well, why don't I make my first joint on a rafter and then measure 12 feet from there and see if it joins on a rafter. So from the wall here to this second rafter is 25.5 inches to the center of the rafter. And from this right here over 12 feet, I get exactly halfway on a rafter, which is great. And then if I go over another 12 feet, I get on the center of another rafter. And then I just have this little piece right here to do. So that's good. So that means that I get this right here. It's 25 inches, then a 12-foot piece, and then a 12-foot piece, and then a 34-inch piece. So then I was like, well, I can't do that same one on this pattern because it has to have, joints that don't match. So I looked at the original 12-foot right here. I was like, well, why don't I just come back to where it hits this rafter, which is 11.5 feet, and then measure about 12 feet over until I come close to another one, which is exactly right here on this rafter. and then I just have a 5-foot span over to the end. So I've actually found a way to use 12-foot boards exactly and cut a couple smaller sizes, basically a couple 3-foot sizes, and fit it up so where they join, so they're staggered. And I have 2 staggering rows like this. So each of the boards are going to be 12 feet in width.
12 inches.
Yeah, 12 inches in width, basically a foot in width. And I already know the measurement, the length from the wall to the beam, which is 10 feet 8 inches. So now I know that this pair is 2 feet. So I need to do this pair 5 times, right? And then I have a little bit extra to cut. So I know exactly how many 12-foot boards I need. I'm gonna have very little waste. And it's gonna line up on existing ceiling joists. So I don't need to add, budding wood or whatever you call it. I don't need to add extra wood up there in order to meet at the joints. So that's what I've been doing all day today.
And by all day, do you mean all day?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. I just need to make sure that on this side, that pattern's gonna hold. And I'm pretty certain it will, except for one of them, which I think is this one right here.
It doesn't match.
But it doesn't quite match, but that's okay. I can add some extra blocking, that's the word I'm looking for, blocking up there as I need to for the 3 rows where it's gonna join, where there's not gonna be a rafter. So that's not bad. So I think I'll be able to start from the wall and make my way up. And by doing that, I can it'll be really easy to put the first ones up because it's just a short ladder and I can hold it in place. And then I can use the tongue and the groove of the next board to hold the next board in place and so on and so forth. Yeah, so that was my day. I'm sure I explained that crystal clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now I'm debating, am I going to continue this tomorrow to make sure that side is good and then order the wood and pick it up Friday, or am I going to process the roosters tomorrow? Or maybe I'll just process the roosters on the weekend because the wood needs to sit in here for a couple days to acclimate anyway.
Yeah.
And we need to stain it. That's what I'll do.
Look at this, real-time decision making. Mm-hmm. Progress.
Yeah. Yeah. So we need 28 boards, 28 12-foot boards for this section here, and probably the same for that section over there. And we were going to be ordering a lot more than that. I think we were going to be ordering...
It was by square footage.
We were going to order 66 boards. I only need basically 60 boards, a little bit less than 60.
And then he added 10% for waste.
Yeah, but I already know what my pattern's going to be. I don't think I'm going to have waste. Oh,
no,
he was saying some
board
of
waste, sometimes the quality of the wood isn't what you want to use. Like if there's any damage or extra knots or something that you don't want to use, they always add an additional 10% on.
Well,
because your calculations are assuming that every board you use, you're going to be able to use all parts of the board.
yeah, except for the ones that I cut into small 3-foot sections. But I mean, if there's the majority of the boards that are going to be up there are going to be 12-foot length boards.
Correct.
So they better be giving us some good quality boards, because I'm not going to, if I only have 1 out of every 10 that I order I can't use.
Yeah. They said it would be more so for what we ordered in the other room. This is a higher quality what we purchased here, so it shouldn't be. But that's just the way he said that they estimate it for everything, just to be on the safe side, because it's better to have extra than to stop and not have enough.
Got it. Okay.
But I mean, feel free to talk to him tomorrow.
Yeah.
Again, because I chatted with him today.
Yeah.
And we had to make a change of plans because originally we had ordered 12-foot length also for the not the dining room, the sunroom. But
the mudroom.
They ran out of it, so they're going to give us 16-foot instead. So
for the same price.
For the same price, yeah. But that's gonna mean we'll have. I mean, that's a nice long room, so it won't be bad. It'll give you more options, but it just means possibly more cuts.
Yep.
Than 12-foot, because 12-foot just seemed to be a little bit easier to work with.
And I don't know what the layout on the studs on over there are.
Yeah,
so that'll
be.
But it'll be a lot easier in there because it's really just, it's all.
Yeah.
I don't have to be up on a ladder. Yeah. Whereas with this, it's all ladder work. But yeah, so we'll be having some staining in our future.
Yeah,
very near
there was
future.
a couple questions in the last video that we were in the house, which was today's. Yeah, I think today's video. I don't know what date it is. Yes, we plan on staining the wood before we put it on the ceiling because with tongue and groove, you have to ensure you really get the tongue or you're gonna see the color variations.
Yeah, because the wood expands and contracts throughout the season for the different heat.
So you need to stain it really, really well before you put it up, or so you're going to see zebra stripes. So you don't want that. So yes, we plan on, like Nate said, we'll bring it into the house, let it get used to the temperature of the house, and then pick out the stain that we want to use, go ahead and stain it, and then work on getting the cuts and getting it installed. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other questions on it. I think that was the major one about the ceiling.
Yeah. It'll be a fun project.
That'll be nice.
I'm saying that right now.
Yep, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess I was going to be moving roosters tonight, but I think I'm going to continue on this tomorrow.
Yeah, let's keep forward momentum on this.
Yeah.
Because then I can help you with the roosters on the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it'll go a little quicker.
Yep.
Because I can catch them. I'm good at catching roosters.
I'm so not good at catching roosters.
He doesn't do the chicken catching.
I'm not good.
We've just learned those roles.
It just doesn't happen.
We all have our place, right? You're good at the dispatching. I'm not good at that. So it's a good that we even each other out on those things.
Yep. It's funny. I find, well, it's not, never mind. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
I think that's it, right?
Yeah. I got nothing to add.
Yeah, you had a busy work day, but you had really good news today. We'll just keep it at that, but you had some very good news at work today, so that was nice.
I had good news. I've been stressed out for a while, so I finally got good news.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
I'm still.
Yeah, you're decompressing now.
But it'll be all good. So, take care, everyone.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
See you tomorrow. It's like I'm an architect.
It's like you're an architect.
If Howie were being here to be like, whoa, you should show me some things. I can learn from you, Nate.
Right.